and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL. And today we have a pattern that I very much like how I changed it. Um, Again, it was just something about the symmetry and whatever bothered me. Um, so I had to alter it. And then I think we talked about the fact that I didn't know what kind of colors I was going to use. I'm not sure if you can tell, but that the backgroundy color, the one that there's the most of, like the one I'm messing with right there, that is like a faint pink. And then there's a very deep dark red, and then a neon pink, and then a dark red again, right? It it looks amazing. I wonder if this camera makes it look cooler. Does this look cooler than the other? It's really weird because I think cameras inherently have a hard time picking up on what makes a neon. Oh, by the way, this was my take on a pattern number 86567 on friendshipbracelets.net. So got a little excited there, guys. But it is totally a my take because the original pattern had it where um, instead of going over and under and stuff, it just kind of went over the top to the left and over the top going back to the right, which felt really weird. And it felt like, why is everything pointing in one direction? And I don't know. I didn't like it. So I changed it. That's bottom line. This that could almost be like the title for my channel, right? Didn't like the pattern, changed it. Um, but that's kind of the fun too, right? Is trying to see what we can do differently, and yeah. So when it came to this, right, there was a bit of looking over at the pattern. Got a little bit nervous with the notion because there's just the shape and background color, and there's no other little colors to say when you get to the green one, turn or whatever. So you had to almost kind of count. In this case, it's two strings from the end, and the third one it bounces in on. So there was a bit of a nervous feel of will that become a problem. I think I only had one spot in here where I had a knot that went wrong. Um, but other than that, I mean, it went pretty okay. It's not so bad. And then the background color, I tried to on the left hand side, I just used left knots, right hand side, just the right knots for the most part. Um, the where that is different is when the one shape connects to the next shape, there is a small spot where the colors have to travel underneath, and so yeah, it it's a really kind of subtle thing, and so like the back of the bracelet looks pretty exceptionally well. Because most of it's all going in one direction, and you can see where the other part kind of changes. Um, but yeah, it's sort of a thing. Why is it paused there? Was I? That was weird. I suspect I was supposed to cut that out of the video, and I don't know what I had to achieve during that. That was really weird. I guess I could go back and watch. So this was made during a live stream for the members of YouTube. I could go back and find out what that was, but I need to stop doing that. That's not good. That's really weird. Um. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what that was. Yeah, normally if I was going to pause for whatever, I would just hit stop the recording, and then when I piece it all together afterwards, it just isn't there. That's. I feel like I've let you guys down. I'm sorry. Anyway, um, yeah, so for segment wise, I have to get the left hand side done here so I can bring what's going on the right down over across some of this and finish out the shape. So there's only three of these shapes, and they go kind of quickly. Mind you, check this out. So I added up the amount of times from the segments of the videos, and I wrote it down. It's right here. This one took 91 minutes, or an hour and 31 minutes. Yesterday's video was 92 minutes. So for some odd reason, this one was just a little bit shorter. I It's funny. It's still sped up the same. Um, I don't know why I took such delight in the fact that these two bracelets, mind you, they're the same number of strings, and because we're using the same template, I think they're relatively the same number of knots. I do remember I did change a bracelet to be longer. Was it this one? I don't know. But yeah, it came out to the same. I want to say this one was the one that maybe I did do a little bit longer because I wanted to have the whole full lengths in it. Yeah, maybe. So the fact that it actually went a minute shorter, that's actually unusual. Now that I think about it. Actually, I want to go back and watch my making the pattern to see if that was in fact the case. Because usually I don't mess with my templates. Like I typically don't. Like I know that what the size of the bracelets are that I want, and I run with that. Oh, I bet you if I have the other bracelet, actually put them side by side and see. Yeah, I think this one is just a couple rows longer. No, maybe not. Ah, they're really close. I don't know. Anyway, the bonus of having things close at hand. So, yeah, so here's the part where you'll see, and this kind of confused me at first, like what am I supposed to do here? But yeah, it's the pink has to sort of come in and then to come back. And like I said, I tried to keep them all going in the same direction. It just gives it the bracelet a really coherent look. It's if you have the chance, definitely do it that way. Honestly, you'll like your results a lot better. Despite the fact that I always say if it's a white on white or a pink on pink in this case, not it doesn't matter which direction you go. Um, Trying to keep things in a consistent form will help the overall look. It's just a fact. Um, yep, here's the mistake. I wonder if that means there was more than one. I know there was that. There was at least one. Now, now I'm watching to see whether or not I make more. Um, so yeah, overall, not crazy difficult. Um, you just have to use caution on like this row, like how far does it come out? You can see like I took those two strings at the end and had them laid off so that way I wouldn't accidentally go too far. Um, and you can look at the pattern and you can kind of see like how many strings there are at the end and be able to calculate it out right. I do this weird thing where I'm okay. So first off, the ADHD makes it so that way I can't sit still in my chair, and the fact that it swivels, you see me doing all this, right? But the other thing is I put my feet in behind me, and it's stretching my foot in a way that I shouldn't be doing it, and this is causing me a world of hurt after sitting here for God knows how long. When I go to get up, it's affected my arches of my foot, and a lot of pain. And for some odd reason, my brain can't get around the idea that, stop doing this, you're hurting yourself, because it just feels so natural to be almost in a kneeling position. I need to stop that. It's just crazy. Okay, so weird insights into my life over here as a creator. You probably didn't need to know that, but yeah, it's really a thing, man. So, yeah, I guess I have time to talk about these things. It's a bracelet. It's going along. It's gorgeous. I think I've kind of told you most of everything about it. Um, In some aspects, it really is pretty darn easy. Um, because of the fact, like here, right? This is the farthest point it goes out. It's one string off to the end that isn't used. It comes all the way to the next to the last one before bouncing back. Once you've got that concept in your mind and you know that the other one is just one shorter than that, um, that's pretty darn easy. Knowing that you just get that after you get that center little white diamond dot done, bring down in the left hand side um, down so that way you can bring the right hand side across it. Um, it flows really really well. It just one part segues into the next, and there's only like three repetitions, so it doesn't even feel like, oh my god, how many times am I going to have to do this? It just seems to be, bam, I did a thing, oh I'm partway through a thing, okay now I'm through the next one. It just kind of chugs along really really nicely. So, and hey, check this out. That was the middle. That diamond there that I was talking about, that's the middle of this. So, because these end abruptly, I want to thank my Patreon supporters who make these things possible, because obviously I need to buy string in order to make this. And I also want to thank my YouTube members who are also now contributing to all of that. So, yeah, I thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Um, I need to do a thing for the members from the YouTube. I don't know how we're gonna incorporate all that in there yet, but yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So yeah, um, yeah. So this is the one goes down just two strings from the end. It bounces. This goes and stays within that. This does a little thing to make up the middle. The pinks come in. It's it was a really nice bracelet to make. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're really curious about like kind of what was going on while I was being making it, you can actually go to the members section and check that out. There's YouTube, right? There's you sign up, become a member, you get to watch videos in advance, and you get to see me actually making the video. So during the whole duration of me making this bracelet, I was talking like I'm talking now, right? Like to an empty audience and talking to myself and explaining things and whatever. Yeah, I do that. So that's kind of neat. Yeah, this is the again where you have to bring the pinks in and redirect the other strings back into the shapes. So, yeah, going into the third shape now, third and last. It's it really is a very pretty bracelet, and I really do like the colors that I chose. Um, I'm not even sure quite like how or why I picked the colors that I chose. I don't remember like digging them out and being like, oh, I think I kind of going into this, the bright pink was sort of on my mind. Oh, that's my alarm. Um, the bright pink was sort of on my mind, like one of the things I wanted to do. Actually, take my medicine because if I don't, I'm gonna forget and I'm gonna feel bad. Um, but yeah, so yeah, the bright pink. But then I was like, okay, I need something. I need contrast, right? So the dark red from the hot pink, that was a great contrast. And then I'm like, okay, I almost went with a white background. But then I saw this really light pink and I'm like, oh, that's the thing right there, isn't it? Like it stays on theme, um, and gives it a subtle, sweet little whatever to it. Yeah. Yeah. ADHD meds, man. But okay, honestly, without them, I would be a mess, and I wouldn't be organized. I wouldn't be bringing you daily videos. So keeping on track of that is a thing. All right. Yeah. So this is where the dark one comes down all the way to the next to last string and changes its direction. And at this point, you can see I didn't even take the last string and push it to the side. I just knew that that was a thing. By the time you get through this pattern a little bit, it just gets easier. It's so easy to recognize it. Like I said, in the first part, it felt like I needed to count, right? I was worried about going too far or too little. And you guys are going to have the bonus. Like if you watch this video before you tried to make it, you have the bonus of knowing what I'm sharing with you, that the two strings or the one string from the ends makes, how this whole thing works. So yeah, I mean, that's some like great knowledge. Now this is the one string off. Actually, you can see I set the one aside to make sure that I didn't make a mistake. You can do that too. That's always easy. And you can tell how I systematically went through this in order like to get that middle knot, to bring down the left side so the right side can cross over. Like everything is pretty well thought out as to the most efficient way of doing this. So again, if you're watching this before making it, you will have that advantage of going into it knowing that if as long as you follow these steps, it'll just go quickly and smoothly. And don't feel bad if it takes you longer than an hour and a half. That's I've been making bracelets a long time, mind you. You might make it faster. There are people, I am sure of it, who are faster than what I am. And kudos, like that's awesome. But I understand. Don't. It's not a competition. Don't worry about it. Oh, you can see I stopped where like it was like 3 knots and then 3 knots and then the red one bounced off because I left the very last row to be a solid row from the outside coming in. I didn't want those ones to come out further and then have to do some wonky thing with the pink knots where I had to like do zigzags or whatever to get them to come in and cover the last bit. So the very last row is a longer row coming in. So yeah. Yeah, I really do. I think about all these things as I'm making stuff. It's crazy, right? Um, but obviously, we are getting near the end here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It's been a lot of fun. I love this bracelet. If you guys make it, share it with me, Instagram or on Discord. Because yeah, I like to see what you guys come up with. I love to see what colors you guys use. Because obviously, this thing could look good in pretty much any color or combinations of colors. So there you go. And see, the last rose. So thanks again, guys. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.